What's happening, folks? More motivation. Let's talk about the 7 principles of training with that science applied, simplified for you to help you know how important these are to apply to your training. Stay tuned. First principle I want to talk about today is the SAID principle, which basically means specific adaptation imposed demands. So this basically says however your training directly impacts your results, whether if it's physical training in the gym, there's certain exercises that you're doing, how you eat, rest, all that stuff, and also mental training. In training, every single thing applies. Mentally, physically, they all work together, and that is what I want to get people to understand, right? An example of how mental can be so important in training, especially when it comes to your confidence and to your mental resiliency. Let's say you're somebody that never went for a 1 mile run before, and you're gonna go with people that run all the time. You're gonna run a certain distance, and at a certain point, you'll be exhausted. It takes a certain amount of mental fortitude in those moments when you almost have nothing left to get you to a certain point to get you through it. But if your mind hasn't faced that before, you won't really be as successful as if you trained yourself to be able to do it. So how the adaptation works and the stimulus and all that is, if you train a specific way for a long time, eventually your body will adapt to that style of training. And the same thing goes with eating, right? How your body is efficient with the energy from the calories, the carbohydrates, your total macros with your activity in the gym. Over time, it becomes more efficient at handling that. Over time, it adapts, basically. So how you're eating, the type of training you're doing, and your mindset adapts to a certain point, right? And this is actually what I want to go into next. The next principle, the overload, right? This is an important one to apply because of that. At a certain point, your body adapts, right? You train a certain way, you move weight the same way, you eat the same things every day, the same amount of calories, and mentally you get to a point where you sort of know what to expect, right? Because of that, you're not going to really be improving until you apply the overload principle, right? So this basically means you are adding more weight, you are changing the sets, the reps, the resting time, so that your muscle is forced to go against more stimulus. Because when you stimulate the muscle, it's challenged, but at a certain point, your muscle adapts. So that means you have to add more weight, make the thing more challenging in order to make more progress. So this is what the overload principle basically talks about. So the overload principle, in the simplest way I can explain, is adding to what you're doing to make it more challenging. That's the simple way I can explain it. And normally you want to do this every week, every 2 weeks, so that you keep on improving. But at a certain point, you adapt. When you adapt, that's when you make the changes. Okay? So it takes the body typically about 21 days to really adapt to something to the point you need, to make changes. Otherwise, from there, you will just decline. So the overload principle basically means you're doing something to challenge the muscle so that it can grow, become bigger, stronger, and faster. That's the simplest way I can explain that one. So the next one I want to talk about is the recovery. This one is truly important in any program that you're doing. Typically, I recommend to rest 1 or 2 days a week. Okay? If you want to go every day, I recommend active recovery days. So you're still doing something which is light, like maybe walking or maybe it could be stretching. But typically I recommend 1 or 2 days a week to rest, right? When you go to the gym, you are tearing down your muscles, you're putting it under a lot of stress. Your body needs time to rest through like what you're eating, sleep, and even mentally to get to a stage where the muscles are fully recovered and ready to be able to take the hard workouts later on. So you want to add resting to your programs. You want to think about like resting days as the most important days, because your muscles are actually growing outside of the gym, not in the gym. So you want to make sure there's recovery emphasized. Okay, so typically every 5 months I'll take a week off. Each week I'll take 1 or 2 days. So this is something I truly recommend for anyone in any program. Your program has to have days of rest or active recovery or stretching, deload days, deload weeks. And you want to consider all of this if you want to become stronger, and have better performance. The next one I want to talk about is variation. This can really help you in so many ways, especially if you're a powerlifter, if you're a performance athlete, whatever you're doing. At some point, even mentally, doing the same things over and over and over, moving the joints the same way, your joints get tired of moving the same way. Even mindset-wise, it's mentally exhausting. So every 2 to 3 weeks, you want to add something new for variety so that your potential is higher. Changing something up once in a while will help you progress even faster, and you really have to consider it. Okay, it could be the types of exercises, it could be the load, it could be sets, reps, resting time. You want to manipulate things every once in a while to keep your progress going up, right? And this is typically why people plateau, because they do the same thing that worked maybe when they started, but they're realizing now the progress isn't as linear or isn't as steep. So you want to make sure to have variety in your program. You want to add new things every now and then to help you keep progressing, and also give you an open mind, and it will also help you be more educated when it comes to health and fitness. So you want to have variety. The next one I want to talk about is reversibility. So this basically means if you stop using it, you're gonna lose it. Okay, you can go to the gym for a very long time, stop for a very long time, and lose most of the progress. But this principle also means you are more likely to get most of your results back in a shorter time than you did when you started. So this is a really good one. So if you stop too long, just know that it's still possible to get back to where you are. It will just take shorter than it did when you started. So that's what this principle talks about. So the next one is one of the most important ones, because I feel like a lot of people get this one wrong. Because we live in the day and age of social media, we are inspired by many people. We see people doing things, we want to try it ourselves. We want to copy what other people do. But this principle right here is something that I apply, which is why I have the best results for me. So this principle is called individualization. So as individuals, we're all different, right? I train for a certain amount of years. You train for a certain amount of years. We're both different ages. We have different genetics. For me, I'm a mesomorph, but I have longer arms, right? Shorter torso, longer legs, right? You have to know these different things in order to make a program. Two people of the same age but different genders are different. A little kid versus an adult is different. Even how you interact with people, if you're a coach, for example, is different. All right, so this principle right here is one of the most important principles for that reason. Two people cannot do the same program and have the same results. you have to cater how you train to your body type. Like you have a mesomorph, endomorph, ectomorph, right? And even when it comes to how you eat, it's also going to be different for each body type. Your genetics, your age, all of that changes too over time because we're getting older. I'm not getting younger, so my training style is going to have to change. So you want to keep all those things in mind when making a program or when seeing somebody do something on social media that you want to copy. So you want to keep all of these things in mind. And the last one I want to talk about is phase potential. Okay, so every program that you have should be progressive, and each stage of the program should be focused on one thing. If you want to be super athletic, for example, you can have one phase of 4 weeks focusing on agility. Then you can have the second phase of 4 weeks focusing on quickness, speed, like how to use that agility and turn it into speed, or how to take that agility and turn it into strength, And then the phase after that, phase 3, you can focus on how to build muscle in the area you're trying to get more athletic. And the final phase could be how to put all those things together and add power and speed in order to be able to do your sport. Those are just simple examples. So in any program, you can't focus on all things at the same time. You have people typically doing 𝙈𝖙𝖎𝖼𝖏 and cutting at the same time. You can't do both at the same time. You have to pick something, focus on it, hammer it down, then go to the next goal. That's essentially my point. So those are the 7 principles of training that you need to have in your program to succeed, right? All those things apply even if you don't know it. This is a video to put it in perspective and to easily explain it for anybody to understand. There's no science involved because I'm more a person that does things from experience, and what I learned is from my experiences over the past 12 years of training. So those are things that apply to remain lean, to become more athletic as the years go, and to keep doing it without any injuries. But your program has to have all 7 of these. Otherwise, you could risk being mentally fatigued, injuries, and just a lack of progress and lots of plateaus. So you want to make sure your training has all these things in order to be successful. So thank you so much for watching the video. Like always, get better every day, optimize yourself. It's more motivation. I'll see you in the next video.